Hello, welcome back to my channel. And yes, I have my junk journal July here. And there is a reason for that, and that it's because today I want to show you how we can make oversized stamps like this one. So for junk journal July, I made this for the prompt stamp. I made a page that it looks like a postage stamp. And from there, I decided to make these ones that are more like a journaling card that you can put in your journals in a pocket, but they are oversized stamps. And I want to show you how I make them. So let's get started. So for this project, I'm using images from old magazines. I have here an architectural digest from 1989 and two Smithsonian magazines, one from 1989 and one from 1986. So they're pretty old. I guess we can call them vintage. And I took these images from these magazines. And I actually have some leftovers here that I really want to use this Big Ben image and this other bonsai image. But I also saw this one. Look at this beautiful doll that can also be used as an image. So I'm going to take this page. You can use any image you like. If you go through images of postage stamps, you can see that there is a variety. Here I have some stickers that I'm using for inspiration, and they are just very different type of stamps. And I've been using them as guide as to how I want to design my stamps. So it's a good idea to look at some stamps, get some inspiration, and then see what you get. Because you can see that some of them are like very artistic images. They don't have to be photographs, so they can also be paintings and things like that. So I want to use this one. We'll probably use this two as well. And like this one would also be a nice stamp. Let's see if we find another one. Well, these paintings are good. Um, should we do an animal one? I don't know. I really like one. But let's see what the other magazines have to offer. I guess you could even cut this and make a stamp out of that. Honestly, anything could work. Maybe even a piece of rag, why not, right? So anything could be a stamp. Yes, this is the one. I wanted to use this one. It's very pretty, that image. It's from a painting, so let's use that one. So the only issue that I see with the two images I picked out is that the background is dark, and I'll tell you why that could be an issue in a second. So I think that's all of the images I'm gonna use for today. So in my junk journal July, the background was a little bit dark as well. So you can see that the stamping, we're gonna do some stamping on top of the image. Is not very visible, but we can play around that. So now that we have our images, we're going to get our other materials. We need a backing surface, so where we can glue our image to create the journaling card. And for that, I'm using file folders. These are recycled file folders that I actually took out from the recycling bin at work. Sometimes I just go and look and see what people throws in there, and I say, oh, that's paper I can use. So that's what I did. So these are pretty old. They've been used a few times, but they're still good quality cardstock. So we're gonna use those. You can use any cardstock, um, or any paper, but if you want to use it as a journaling card, I would recommend using cardstock so that you have a more sturdy journaling card. And we also need stamps. So I got this set of stamps that are like postal mailing stamps that I got from Timu. And so I'm gonna be using some of these. If you don't have stamps like these ones, you can even draw your lines if you want. With a black marker, you can draw the lines. And you can even do the circles for those seals type of things. You can just draw all of it and create your own stamps. Now you can also make the stamp without being processed. The stamps get the lines and all those other stamps on top of them once they've been mailed. But when they're new, they don't have that. They just have a number, which usually indicates the price. So I'm gonna show you this this sticker here. This one doesn't have any markings because it's supposed to be a new stamp. It just have the number. Whatever that is, it cost $1, not $1, probably a euro, 40. This other one too, here it has the number. So the numbers are located at different parts. This is a US stamp. This one has been processed, so you see those marks, but the price is there. This is an actual forever stamp. If you live in the US, you've probably seen this. You probably have it at home. And the price is there. Some of them have the country. I mean, I think a lot of them have the country of origin. So that's another thing you can add to your stamps. So you can make them as simple or as complicated as you want. This one is another US one. I think this is pretty old stamp, but it has the price on that corner there. So it's good to study other stamps to see how you want to make your own stamps. So far, what I've been doing is just putting a number, on this bottom corner, that's the price, and then I've been adding the lines and the other seals, like the stamps were actually used. You're also gonna need your cutting instruments, supplies, I guess, I don't know. And if you have pinking shears, because I want to give them this zigzag look that it's so typical of a stamp. If you don't have pinking shear, you can tear the edges. If you have a tear rule, that may help. Or I don't know, maybe if you have a lot of patience, you can do the zigzag with regular scissors. And that would be up to you. It could also just have straight edges, and you don't need to worry about doing any of that. So let's start cutting out our images. Let's do, should we do the 4? I don't know. I'm gonna do this one first. So all I'm doing is trimming my image. I'm not measuring anything right now because I'm just following that frame, but I can see that I'm not doing it very straight. So if I need to make my image more straight, I'm gonna just use my mat as a guide and see. Well, I think it's pretty decent. It's good. So we have one. Let's do all of them. Let's just trim. messed this one up, but we'll fix it. I'm really not worrying about measurements right now at all because I don't care what measurements they are gonna be, as long as they are bigger than a regular stamp. We're calling them oversized, but you can see that they are all different sizes of images, and that's okay. This is gonna be a big one, so this would fit only in a big journal. Actually, let's cut some from the top because maybe this is gonna be too tall for a journal. And maybe a little bit from the side. Okay. And now we're gonna get our cardstock and just glue these ones in here. And what I want to do is to just leave a margin that looks okay. I'm not measuring anything actually for this, but I am going to mark where I want this image to fit so that I can trim this one before gluing it. So I don't know what I'm leaving, about a centimeter, but I'm not measuring. I'm just gonna do that in here, and we're gonna trim this following that line, hoping that I'm doing this straight. And then again here. So there we have it. And let's glue this one. I'm using a glue stick. I don't want to use a wet glue because even if it dries fast, like art glitter glue, it can still wrinkle the magazine paper. If you're using a thicker paper, you can go ahead and use a wet glue, but magazine paper gets really, can get very wrinkled with art glitter glue or any other wet glue. But so I'm making sure that I am adding glue in everywhere, especially in the corners and in the center, because we don't want a lot of bubbles. So this is the tricky part for me because now I have to glue it in a way that it's straight. And yeah, that's no, not straight. I was gonna say that's decent, but it's not. Okay. We're gonna just say that this is okay and try to get rid of air bubbles. Look at that. It looks very pretty immediately. Notice that I didn't ink the image, but we're going to ink the cardstock in a little bit. So I have some glue missing here. So I'm gonna try to, add some extra glue there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We'll see if we need more glue in a little bit, but let's do the other ones. Okay, so I still have, I'm using as much as I can from this. Again, I'm gonna give it an extra space. And we're gonna trim this cardstock. Notice how my my cardstock is very wrinkling because wrinkled. because I did tell you that these are old. Okay, I have the sense that this is not very straight. No, this needs a little bit more trimming because it's not straight on this part. So I'm gonna use my ruler again if I find it. There we have it. That's pretty good. Really like this one size. So again, trying to add glue all over the place. My glue stick dries super fast, so if I don't glue it pretty soon, there are gonna be pieces that are not gonna glue, like you just saw in the previous one. Okay, was it like this? Is this gonna work? Yeah. Okay, so boom, boom, trying to see if this is even. That's pretty much even. Okay, there we have the second one. And I'm going to do the same with these two off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all of the images on cardstock now. And now we're gonna do the thinking cheers. So for this, I'm just gonna try to stay as straight as possible, closer to the border as possible, but it's not gonna be perfect. I can tell you that because I already did this, but that's okay. I'm not aiming for perfection here. Imagining these are old stamps and they don't need to be perfect. Also, if you've been here before, you know that I cannot do straight lines and none of my cutting is ever gonna be perfect. So what I do is I try to follow the previous pattern to keep cutting. Okay, so this is how it looks. You see that my margins are not exactly the same, and this one is pretty wrinkled. So after I'm done, what I'm gonna do is just to put them under a book or inside a heavy book, and they will get straighter. So I'm gonna speed this process up and finish cutting all of them. I should say that you can also do this before gluing your images. I find it easier for me to have my images glued so then I know where to cut, like how to follow the pattern around the image, but you can do it the other way around too. Our stamps are getting closer to look like actual stamps. So now we're gonna ink the edges. I'm using this archival ink in potting soil. It gives that subtle aged look. You can do whatever color you want. If you're going for this one here, it's not, I don't like it. There we go. Okay, if you're going for the vintage old look, try a brown ink or a black ink. If you want to do something more fun, you can do any color ink you like. So I also go over the corners like this over the image to kind of create that vignette effect that I like, and also to add more aging to the image itself. You can also add a matte medium at this stage if you want over your image. That's what I did on the journal page I created before. I added matte Mod Podge, but I don't know if I like the effect. I like that the stamps have the glossy finish. If you look at a real stamp, they all have kind of a gloss. So I like to keep that, and I'm just edging around the image itself, but you can get rid of the glossy finish if you want. It could also be useful to have matte medium on top of your image, because the next step now, we're going to stamp our postage marks, and it could make that process easier, because stamping on glossy magazine paper, it's not always easy, and you're gonna see. Once we start doing this, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So having a matte medium on top, it may help with that. So you can see the effect, the aging look. I love this one. This is gonna be my favorite, I think. I love this painting. This can be great for a shabby chic journal. You can even add, I mean, I'm making a stamp, but that doesn't mean you cannot add lace to it. You can do a lace border. That would look great, I think, with this image. Okay, so now we start stamping. And as I showed you before, I'm gonna use this one. And I like to have a piece of paper to both protect my surface and to test my stamps. So here you see I've been using this one, and let's start with this one, with the London one, because I have a stamp that says London. I have a couple. I'm gonna use this one. Okay, oops, there is a hair in there. And this one is the one I've been using. I really want to use the Airmail one. I've been using it. It's not very successful. You can see here my attempts. This is how it should look like, but then I cannot always get a straight stamping with that one. I don't know why. Okay, let's do those. So where are we gonna put our numbers and our stamps? That's what we need to decide. So we can do the London here, the price here, and then the lines can go different places. So let's start with the number. I've been doing random numbers. How much does a stamp cost in the UK? I don't know. Let's say 35 what cents? Do you guys use cents? Like pound cents? Like in the US we do dollar cents? I don't know, what is that. 35 whatever decimal of the pound is. That's what it is. So I like to test. Yes, that's a perfect number impression. So I think I'm gonna do the number on this corner. I can see how it moved, but that's okay, because again, this is glossy paper. When you put your stamp on top of glossy paper, I could feel mine sliding. So be careful with that. This is what I said before, that once we start stamping, we'll see what the problem is with stamping on glossy paper, but you can get it to work. And now I'm gonna do the London one. So I haven't used this one, so we're gonna test it. Oh, it's the other way around. It's very pretty. This can be off center. They don't have to be on top of your image fully. Part of it can go on the cardstock, And even part of it can go off the cardstock because that's how they are stamped usually. So you can see that again, it moved a little bit on the glossy paper. What's important right now is that you don't touch your glossy paper, because if you touch where you stamp, it's gonna smear. You just let it dry. So then we're gonna do these lines. I'm gonna do one on top of the price, like that. You see how I did those off? And then I'm gonna try to get the whole impression under London there, and then we can do like something like this, like a ghost impression on top. See, this looks like a pretty old and used stamp. Really like it. Should we attempt a different one? Trying to see. I like this one, but let's try something different. I'm gonna try my red ink. My red ink is not permanent like the archival, so I don't know how fast it's gonna dry. Let's see, let's see. Let's see if it works. Yeah, I don't want this kind of to be full impression, just a tiny bit on here. Let's say like this got scanned twice by a different machine. There we have our first stamp completed. So let's move to this one. We can do the number. I was thinking, in the corner, or I'm gonna take advantage of that pretty dress there to stamp the number. What do we want this to cost? Maybe 40 cents. I don't know why. Let's do 40. I'm doing all the numbers with black ink. Again, I'm using archival ink for this. You can also write the numbers or stencil the numbers. It's up to you. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try not to move this one. Oh, I'm shaking, can you see? Oh, that's perfect. That was perfect. Okay, so we have 40 there. And what else do we want to do? Is this a London stamp? Is this Spain or Germany? Let's do Germany. We haven't do Germany. I have a Paris, a London, a Germany, Berlin. Yes, it's Berlin. Well, since I have the red here that I didn't fully use, I'm gonna do some red in here. That's great. It's very subtle. I really like it. Okay. Berlin. You can play with your stamps and with different ink colors as much as you want. I think it adds more interest. So on top of the red one, I'm gonna do the Berlin stamp there. And now we're gonna do the lines. We can do lines here, like that. And I'll do the full lines here on top of the number. Great. And maybe we have a little bit more ink, and we'll do that one there. Oh, I love it. This one looks great. I really like it. So let's continue. This is so fun. I'm so excited. Okay, where do we do the number here? Here we have a lot of space. How much does this one cost? 45. Why not? 45. Oh my god, I'm gonna sound very ignorant. I don't know what's the. I'm thinking this is from Japan. I don't know what's the currency in Japan. I'm sorry. So whatever 45 is, this is gonna be Japanese money. Um, it's like this. Okay, I'm gonna try not to move. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I don't have a Japanese one. Let's do the airmail one, which I attempted on this one as well, and it didn't work out great. So we're gonna try again, making sure I have all the ink See, I don't know what's wrong with this one. I have to push very strong. Okay, where do we put this one? I want to dry it a little bit so it doesn't smear because I'm gonna have to push it hard. Maybe I'll do it here. And it's gonna go off a little bit. And then we push hard. Okay, there we go. That's great. We have the airmail there. Let's do some red marks under the airmail, like going this way. Yes, and then maybe some here. And we're gonna do the black lines too. Oh, I'm loving this idea of doing red. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. I inked my finger. So we're gonna do, this one's gonna be off a little bit like that, and we're gonna do one that's gonna go kind of over the number a little bit. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. I think I do need a circle here. We can use a generic circle like this one that doesn't have a country or a city. This one has an airplane and a year, I think. So let's see, what is it? Oh, it's a number, but it's the other way. So we're gonna do that one on top of the red in this corner. There we go. It's beautiful. Okay, and now the last one. This one is gonna be the trickier one because it's very dark, so I don't know how good the black it's gonna show up. We're gonna do 44, why not? And I'm gonna do this one like over her dress. Perfect. And then we're just gonna have to play and see what's gonna show up. But if it doesn't show very clear on the black part, let's make sure we stamp the cardstock. So I'm gonna do the red one like this. Oh, it didn't even show up on the cardstock. Hey, look what I find. What I found. Why are you not fully glued? Go. So let's try again on that same side. Yeah, it's gonna go over it there. So you can see how now I got a good impression in the cardstock, but not on the image itself. Now, you may have inks of different colors that may show up in here. Let's see what I have. I have silver. Maybe silver would work. Let's see. Oh, or maybe a pink too. So what do we want to do on here? Where are we getting the stamp from? Let's do France. I mean, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the stamps come from. I like, whenever I make ephemera, I'm always thinking where, what it was, you know, like who, oh, this is super cool. I cannot see it on the white paper, but let's see. Ooh. So I was saying, I'm always thinking where this ephemera came from, whom it belonged to, because I don't know, I like to think about those things when I'm making ephemera. Okay, this is gonna go all over the black. Oh, it moved. But no, let's see. Ah, look at that. That one turned out great. It moved. I can see that it moved, but at the same time, it looks so nice and shiny. Oh, so let me try and see if I can do kind of half here. Yes, okay, we're gonna do more of that. I am gonna use the black again and do the black lines here. Let's see if it had some ink. No, we're gonna do more. But not right now because I want to do silver lines and I don't want to do the black and the first and then the silver because it's gonna ruin my silver ink pad. So I'm gonna do it underneath the circle one. Ooh, it's awesome. I'm very happy with this one. Okay, so now these ones are gonna go here, but I'm gonna go off a little bit and still has some silver, so it looks like both colors in there. And then let's go on top of the red one as well. There we have our beautiful stamp. Okay, so I'm gonna clean up a little bit and I'll show you everything how it turned out. So here are the stamps that we made today, oversized stamps using magazine images. This one turned out super great with the silver ink. The impression is not perfect because it moved a little bit, but it's something to keep in mind. I want to do it again. And we did this one. Ooh, I think the two ladies ones are my favorite, maybe. And then these are the two other ones that I did before. Um, you can see that the ones that I've done before are flatter because they've been drying for a couple of days. So they're gonna look flatter after I put them under a book or something like that. Trying to make them all fit in here in my frame. There we have it. This was super fun. Please try to make stamps yourself. Use whatever image you like and have fun with your stamping on top. That was the best part for me, stamping on top of my stamps. And check out my ephemera making playlist that I'm going to link down below. And that playlist, I have all the videos I've made about ephemera making, and a lot of them involve magazine images because I love using magazine images for my journals, and I create different types of ephemera with them. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time soon. Bye!